him, I was like flipping the fuck out. I was like, man, do you hear my heart beating? Like on the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, shh. He's like, yo, what? I like, turn the TV down. I'm like, man, you don't hear that. He's like, yo, dude, you're fucking high as shit. And I was like, I don't want no more of this shit.
Funny thing is, I'm recording this.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
No filter.
No filter.
No filter.
No filter.
Welcome to No Filter.
The No Filter.
The No Filter.
The No Filter podcast, which is
An EMP network production.
In this show, you'll encounter nothing but straight talk, no PC.
No PC.
No PC consistency.
Please note that the
Opinions from the host.
Are not a reflection of the EMP network. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks for opening up your ears and your minds.
and we hope you like this one.
Did you guys know that 1 of every 2 people statistically have herpes?
Why does it have to be me?
Remember that next time you're impregnating somebody, Art.
Why does it have to be me?
It's already established canon that you have herpes and you like impregnating women.
Exactly. So, I mean,
Do you think if you could impregnate men, he would do that too?
he would definitely impregnate a guy. I think he prefers guys anyway.
Whoa. Do not put that out there. Wait a minute. Let's stop. Time
Guys, if there's
Clipping,
any guys out
Sperm on
there,
sperm.
if
Holding,
there's any guys
traveling.
out there, if there's any guys out there,
Illegal
Art will try to get you pregnant, guys.
Stop.
He's like a dog in heat. He'll just hump at anything within sight, even if it's
Why do
another
you think
guy.
all of my pillows are gone?
Whoa. Because he semen and leave them?
Art, we need to get to the bottom of this.
The bottom of what?
The bottom of you impregnating things and having herpes.
Things?
And
Women
hating,
are not
and
things.
hating women.
It's funny because you're going to have like a group of listeners who are like, man, that guy Art is an asshole. But do you really think I would be sitting with these guys doing a podcast? Do you think they would really have me on the podcast if I had all this shit wrong with me? I'm telling you, there's probably a group of people who are super biased towards me. Like, man, this guy, he impregnates
Fuck
women.
this guy.
They definitely hate you. But I hate you.
But, well, first off, you hate everyone
Equally.
equally. And it's been like that as a child.
Oh my gosh.
Since
Here
a
we go.
child.
I really think I traumatized you.
Dude, you were awful, man. I mean, have you ever had, like, I don't know if you had, like, a big brother or cousin who, like, was just an asshole at all. Like, I don't know too many kids. Like, I know some kids who are assholes, but they're not assholes to other kids. They're just assholes so they can get away with, like, to see what they can get away with. He was, like, he tormented me. You know what I mean?
I tormented everybody, though.
No,
It's
not the way, as soon as, dude, it would be like this because my mom went out of town a lot. So she used to like kind of distribute me amongst my different cousins, like who I was going to stay with. And I'm like, please, I don't want to stay over Aunt Liz's house. I do not. No, why not? Because his brother and his sister were phenomenal. But I'm like, because he is mean, he terrorizes me. Like, I hated this dude. And then anytime, like, I would try to like break the ice and be like, cool. I'd be like, hey, what's up? I'd be like, come here, and put me like some crazy shit, and I'd be like, dude, I didn't even walk in the fucking door yet. Like he would,
Wow.
that was the type of guy he was.
I believe it too.
Older cousin.
Here's the thing.
He does that to me at work.
Oh, really?
Puts me in a headlock. I'm like, dude.
Oh, man.
The problem is, like, you were soft as shit.
I was an easy target.
No, it's not even the fact that you were easy. You were soft as shit. Like, and you came. Here's the thing. All right, I'm obviously making up an excuse because I was just an asshole, but like at the same time, you would come over and like we would all hang out with my friends and shit like that, and you were Carlton.
I was.
You were Carlton.
I dressed like him and everything, man.
So I tried to break you out of that.
Yeah, but I don't even
And plus,
think
I was also an asshole. But
Will
I tried
wasn't
to
an
break you out
asshole,
of
though. Will wasn't an asshole, though.
Will was an asshole. Will was absolutely an asshole.
Well, yeah, sometimes he was to Carlton.
Was he?
Yeah.
Will was an asshole.
But not like all the time. Like
Yeah. I mean, he didn't beat on him or anything.
Art, I was not an asshole all the time.
it was never to the point where Carlton didn't want to be in the same room as Will. Like you never seen an episode like that. This guy.
Oh man.
Man, he was ruthless, man. He was ruthless.
Anyway, moving on. So, Oh, hey guys, welcome to No Filter. I bring us in, Art. Bring us in, Art. You taking a knee again still?
I'm taking a knee.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to No Filter. I am your host, Remorseless. I'm here with Double D
What's up, guys?
and Art.
Howdy.
I'm bleeping that out because you're taking a knee, bitch. Anyway, and
See
we're
that?
rocking.
See that? It's crazy.
Confirmed.
Exactly. You can't choose. You can't have selective morality.
Wait, what?
You can't have selective morality. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a knee on this because you did me wrong, and then you say something after, like during the introduction. That doesn't make any fucking
Now
sense.
I'm with Art on
You're
this.
a dick.
because-
You just randomly do that to get a reaction. Like,
It is hilarious. And you're misunderstanding. I know what I do wrong. I'm okay with it.
change the subject here. What does this do to you when I do this? When I put on chapstick and I look at you? I had someone do that to me, and I was like, "You're not serious, are you?" Like,
Bro, like it's chap. Like,
Don't look me in the
You
eyes
guys-
while you do that.
oh my god, you guys drink chaps. I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't understand the
dude,
whole
you seen
chapstick
I just
situation.
drink like a fucking. What is this?
Yeah, why did you drink all of
How
that?
did you drink that entire thing
I just
since
drank
you've
it-
been here?
That shit is a liter.
A liter and a half
It's a
of
liter.
water,
That
and I'm
is
still
crazy.
like putting chapstick.
Why
on.
haven't you pissed yet?
I don't know, man.
You may want to go talk to somebody.
Just really
I need to go
dehydrated.
get that checked out.
Wow,
Cramping and everything.
man. Let me tell.
Might be the herpes.
Or his period.
It's that time of the month. Yeah, it is.
Do you guys believe in male menopause?
Male menopause?
I mean, not male menopause. Male menstrual cycle.
I do, because there's a lot of guys that act like pussies, man.
No, I was reading. First off, I was talking to one of my boys, and he was like, "Yeah, well, it's around my time of the month," and I was like,
Why would
I
you
was
even
like,
say that?
"What?" He was like, "Yeah, you know, guys have periods too," and I was like, "What?"
was
there
he
are
saying
some
it
dudes that do, man.
unironically?
He was serious.
Wow.
He was really serious, and he's like, and so I started doing research, because I really wanted to see if this shit was real, and I've seen articles that says it's bullshit, and I've also seen articles that says it's not, but I don't know if I'm buying it. I'm sorry.
Well, I have heard that before. I've heard it before, and I mean, all humans, we do have hormones, and I do think that they fluctuate, whether it's, you can give it a name like that.
So there's a menstrual cycle and a menstrual cycle.
menstrual cycle. I mean, that's something that can only be proven with science, I think, right? With doing laboratory tests, which I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't-
I instinctively want to call bullshit on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
obviously,
agree.
because we're all guys, so yeah, we're gonna say.
But
no,
some dudes act that way. They're moody as shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is your problem? Like, don't like. If there's something going on with me, I don't wear that in front of people. Like I can.
Yeah.
There could be something that happens at home. I don't go to work and sulk all day. Like I just
Yeah.
think that's part of being
And
a man. Like,
and see,
you know what I
that's
mean?
that's the thing.
Man
like,
up.
I mean, you know me, I'm the king of compartmentalizing, but
King of cum. I think that's what you were going for.
King of cum, passionate cum.
I mean, guys have different levels of testosterone. Some have more testosterone naturally and some have higher estrogen levels
Estrogen,
than a
yeah.
normal man. So I can probably assume that those are the men who fluctuate.
Are
like
those the
that.
guys that have like man tits?
Well, they can, yeah, but they're usually the more effeminate ones.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's funny because I went to go. The reason why I went to go get a therapist is because, we come from a family of bipolar people, and I was losing my temper a lot. This is before I was diagnosed with OCD. I was losing my temper a lot, and I was getting frustrated a lot. So I was like, okay, well, maybe because, as a guy, I think way more logically. I'll use my relationship for example. I would think way more logically than my wife. My wife is all emotion, and I'm all logic.
Oh man, yeah.
As a guy, I'm like, okay, well, see, this is maybe I need to go see. So I go to the doctor, and I'm talking to the doctor, and the doctor's I'm talking to him, and he's watching me do things, and I'm fixing my collar, and I wash my hands, and I wash my hands a certain type of way, 10 all together, 5 over top, 5 over bottom, and then 5 paper towels and fold them up and then dry your hands off. That's
Fuck,
just,
were you in the military?
like,
The
no,
hell?
that's I have OCD. Like I have a right sock drawer and a left sock drawer. I have OCD, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. And this is my cousin, people. This is my cousin. But anyway, so like, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, well, I may be bipolar, blah 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 blah, and he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, but so how can you explain all? He's like, because so and he asked me, when do you have these issues? And I'm like, well, usually when, and he's like, is it usually when something doesn't like usually when something deviates from the process that you've thought of? And I'm like, most of the time, yeah. Because, and it's funny because when I have smoke for somebody, I reserve it completely for them. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, well, even so, like, how is it, like, do you have a hard time biting your tongue? I was like, yeah, it literally, and he's like, does it really, really make you angry and change your mood whenever you do? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's because you have OCD. And I was like, and then he sent me to a therapist, and the therapist confirmed it as well. But like, just, I say all of that to say, I acknowledge that something was wrong just from logic. Like it's not really like, and that's through science. Like you have to show me that your menstrual, you see how I wrap that around full circle? You have to show me that,
very nice,
that this menstrual cycle shit is real in order for me to believe it. Because like, I'm sorry, but
well, it's like a lot of things nowadays. It's like people just make shit up and be like, hey, everybody.
But they may not be making it up, though. It may have just been a breakthrough in science as well. And now I don't believe it. And I probably like, but it also, like the menstrual cycle thing, it also has like a woman stigma to it. Like women have periods, women bleed for a month, women do this, women do that, right? So that also may be the reason why you just deny it right away.
You bleed out your asshole. But look.
What?
But I'm talking
we
about
really need to talk about the people you date.
I'm talking about the behaviors, like with certain men. That like dudes can get under my skin, because they just, some guys just
are
do
super
things
sensitive.
Super sensitive.
Yeah.
I'm OCD too, in a sense, right? I think we all are. We all have,
Yeah.
But I think some guys are just like, man, it kills me, man. Like,
I do not take well.
But you're not a huge football fan, right?
No.
Like, okay, but like, I have no problem with you. But when I first heard that from a guy, I was like, what do, like,
he has
what
a
is it, a
problem
little
with
too
you,
violent for you?
This is an indirect. This is an
No,
indirect
it's
insult to you.
this
This is an
He's like,
indirect.
I don't
he's
know,
talking
just something
mad
off the
shit
top
on
of
you
my
right now.
head.
Punch
It's
him in
not
the fucking face. Double D. Hit him.
it's not an insult, but like that kind of like it shocked me at first, because I'm like, was it like not with you, but when I first heard that, because I just assumed. So
Yeah.
that was my fault. But I was like, what is it, too violent for you? Like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious?
What
Like,
do you do during football season, Double D? Like during sports, because you're not a real big
Live
sports
my
fan.
life. What kind of question is that?
Like so, it
like,
doesn't.
what do you
because,
do on
like,
Sundays at
like,
1?
I watch football, and you change your schedule and different things like that depending on your team. Hey Google, shut up. Why does that keep happening?
Dude.
That scared the shit out of me.
Why does that keep happening? But anyway, like when sports comes, like I watch sports and it's like, okay, well, this takes away a portion, of my day, because I set it aside. I might get wings, I may get chips and dip or something like that, but I'll watch sports, right? So like when I talk to people that don't watch sports, it's like, what do you do during that time? Like, does anything change? Like, because shit changes in my life. So I guess I'm personalizing you get what I'm saying? I'm personalizing my schedule and seeing if it changes on yours, because mine does.
I mean, if you really break that down and think about it, it's like, why I like this thing. What are you doing when I'm doing this thing?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
what kind of premise is that?
No, I understand. And I agree.
I mean, what am I doing? Like, listen, I like sports. It's just all about what do you want to spend your time doing? Because we only have a limited amount of time. And if you want to spend your time watching that, cool. I mean, I don't like football enough to invest my time watching it. Like with baseball, I like baseball.
Fuck the Red Sox.
Okay, the World Series champions.
Congratulations to you guys.
Tell them,
by the
Double
way.
D. Tell them.
So
I still hate you.
That's why I like it enough to spend some of my time doing that. Football I like, but I don't like it enough to spend my time watching every single game or getting so involved and so passionate like to play fantasy football. I would never do that just because I don't like it that much.
Well, and you think that we're stupid for doing it?
That was
No, not at all.
Yes, you do.
I think that was me just being naive,
hear
being
me telling
younger.
you how I
You know,
make you think.
I just assumed that all men were just football season. Dude,
Yeah.
go wash clothes or something. Like, you know, I just that was so wrong on every level. I'm sorry, but like I just
what do
assumed
you always say? What is it called? Double D. What is the masculinity thing?
Oh, toxic masculinity.
That's toxic masculinity right there.
Yeah, but these are things that you like growing up. You got to think. Growing up in the '90s, the world wasn't as sensitive as it is now. You know.
Yeah.
And so things you've seen those type of things when you were a child out of your parents and stuff like that, or maybe uncles or aunts. You've seen that out of men, right? You just, oh man, we're going to watch the game and drink beers and things of that sort. So
The stereotype.
And then when I got older, it kind of shocked me when I was in school. I had a roommate or so who didn't play ball, and he was like, "I'm not a sports guy at all."
And you punched him.
No, I was just like, what do you mean you're not a sports guy? He was like, I don't. Like, what?
Bitch, I play football!
So my first take on it, because he was raised on a farm or so, I was like, oh, well, you know, like, what about, like, you know, like, what is that called?
What is
Bull
this?
riding?
Bull riding, yes. Sorry. I was like, so he was, no, I don't watch any sports.
That was your question?
His
That's your view of farm?
pantomime is terrible.
It's terrible, I'm sorry.
I like how you were so far removed from that.
It's funny
think
because
But I was 18. I was not, like I said, like I'm from the inner city, so there was a bunch of things I didn't understand.
yeah, it's funny
But he
because I
said
do
no.
that too. Like me and the guy sitting next to at work, we have these conversations, and the way we think each other lives, we just laugh about it all day, because like I'm like, yeah, well, you live around woods, and I'm pretty sure there's a cow right down the street. How many chickens cross the street and then you stop and let them cross?
do you go cow
and shit
tipping?
like that? And the funny thing is, he lives in Butler. Like, and he's like, yeah, well, you don't have a yard, and you know, everything is cement, and every time you turn around, there's
Cement?
there's some shooting
Semen?
and shit.
I take
Cement.
umbrage with how you say that word name. Cement.
I'm not going to
So
argue
anyways-
about the speed of a word with you.
Okay.
You say clitoris, I say clitoris.
So, you know what? I was thinking about that recently because, like, it's a lot more woods and a lot more country out where I live, and especially I went out to my dad's last night, and he lives like way out, more in the country than I do, and I'm just thinking it is so peaceful to me to have nothing around, for it to be quiet,
I
to
hate
listen
that.
to nature.
I love it.
I fucking hate it.
And that's my question: is like, for you who've always lived in the city, or you're more comfortable in the city.
Let me tell you something.
How do you
all right?
just have people around you all the time, and it's so
Now,
noisy?
For one, I'm a people person. You're a grumpy young man. For two, like, and it's funny because here's the thing. Like, I grew up. Not only did I grow up in the city, but I grew up in the projects. I grew up in the hood, right? So, like,
Marcy, son.
I'm used to. No, we're not from Marcy. We're from Pittsburgh.
I'm joking.
I'm used to a certain type, and even when I moved from out of that certain type of neighborhood to the neighborhood that I'm in now, like, I had a hard time sleeping. It took me about 2 months, 3 months in order to get a good sleep in, because like there was a certain thing that I was used to. Like I was used to sirens, I was used to noise and different things like that. So when it got quieter, it usually when it's quiet in the hood, that means that shit just got real. like, that's true. It means that somebody's plotting some shit. So like I was used to a certain what's the word? Accommodations, I guess. Is accommodations positive?
It's not positive
It
or
doesn't
negative.
matter.
It's
Okay,
just a word.
so I was used to certain things. So like it took me a decent amount of time. And granted, I barely sleep anyway. So like it's funny that you say that, because like I've lived in the outskirts before and I fucking hated it. And the reason why is because, for one, I wasn't around anybody. Like, or I wasn't saying anything to anybody, and it was such a secluded place. And for two, I mean, let's be honest, it was a terrible place to be. But like, I cannot move to. I can't be in a quiet place. Like,
so you could not relax if you were just out in the country all by yourself.
I would rather have a hotel room than an Airbnb.
I can't get that.
Well, the reason why Airbnbs are more secluded. Like, have you ever been in an Airbnb?
No, I have, but that's not necessarily
more
true.
Well, I mean, you're obviously buying the wrong ones. But anyway,
what?
Like but some of them are more secluded. Like, you know what? Let me take away the Airbnb. Then a timeshare. How about that?
Timeshare. Okay.
Let's use timeshare, because timeshares are usually secluded places, private beaches, places where you see little to few to as less amount of people as possible. You know what I'm saying? You'll probably see another couple, or maybe like a little group. I'm not saying all timeshares. I'm just using it as an example. But so I would rather be in a hotel room on the beach, right next to the party. Not necessarily in the party, but I'd rather be right next to the party. I'd rather be on a busy beach. I'd rather be like, because I'm the type of guy that's in the Walmart line talking to the person that's in front of me or behind me.
Ugh.
I'm that type of person. I'm that guy.
I hate you.
I know.
I'm that guy. Like, I'll start a conversation out of thin air. And Double D, you should be grateful for it, because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be on this fucking podcast. And we wouldn't be friends.
My mother's like that. It's funny.
Friends is a strong term.
When we're together, like when I'm with her, and we're like, I very rarely do I actually go shopping with her. Like
only every Tuesday.
No, so there'd be times that we may link up to go shopping or something like that.
Tuesdays.
And she knows she can't talk to me because I'm not that guy. So she looks around at people like, hey, and then she'll talk to them. It's so funny.
It drives, and I do that with my wife. Like, I'll have a conversation with my wife, and then I'll walk past a random person like, did you just hear what she said? She's crazy. She just said, like, and then I'll just keep walking, and the other person will just look and, give me the nervous, I don't know what type of laugh. Or some of them actually talk with me.
I mean, that's a good reaction.
It is a great reaction.
Wrong.
But honestly, I kind of do it for that reaction, because it makes it even more funny for me.
So you like making people uncomfortable, is what you're saying?
He does.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I have a story.
But once again, when you make someone uncomfortable, it's the fight or flight. It's the fight or flight mentality. Either they're going to talk to you and actually find a way to be comfortable with you, Double D, or
I'm still not comfortable with you.
Or they're going to like just kind of veer away, and it's also a type of filler that you throw out. Mm. You get what I'm saying? In order to check the climate of the person.
So we were out. This was my first year of school, I believe, and we used to make these Walmart runs. That was the best thing. The Walmart runs. Oh, you going to? Because when I first got to school, I didn't have a car. Oh, you going to Walmart? You going to Walmart? Like, Walmart was like the big deal, right? So we went. Maybe it was probably a group of 4. I think there were 4 of us, and we went to Walmart. We all just split up. We're like, all right, man. We just call me, meet up, whatever. We all had different things to buy, and so we ended up. I think 3 of us ended up like in the same area, and I was like, you know what, we should get Marcus. So we went to the front, and we said, can you page our friend? We lost him. And they're like,
wait. I do that shit all the time to my wife. It pisses her off so much.
So he comes from the back. I think he was going to like the electronics or whatever, because he wanted to get a game. It was like he was getting like Madden or something like that. And they're like, I think it was, please come to the front. Your friends are looking for you. And he walked up front, and he's seen us.
I'm gonna have to bleep out that name, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. He's seen us, and he didn't even acknowledge us. He just walked straight out the store. He was so pissed off. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Just for being Paige?
Just from being Paige, because it was humiliating. It was and it was like busy. It was like probably around like the 7 o'clock hour or so. But it was hilarious, and
nice.
I mean, when we finally got outside, he like punched all of us, and it probably would have hurt if I wasn't laughing so hard because I was like in a fetal position, like standing, but I'm like dying laughing because of his reaction. It was the funniest thing ever.
Nice.
So, what do you think about sex bots? I was watching some on that. It's crazy. They have this thing on Netflix. I forgot what it's called, but it's all about like you've seen like Sophia, right?
Yeah.
They have those now that they're making specifically for sex.
What do you think about that? Would you do it?
Oh man, I wouldn't know. It's just like the blow up doll. I can't do it.
I don't know, man. It's like I guess it depends how real it is. I might have to do it just to try it, man.
It's super real. Now I don't know if they're going to put these on the mainstream market, but if they do, they're probably going to be super expensive. I mean, but it's like a person. Like it rubs and it's weird, dude. Like they were showing like the penises and the vaginas. Like the penises are like fucking a foot long, dude.
What?
Dude,
its size doesn't matter.
It's crazy. I was laughing so hard. I only caught a glimpse of it or so. Now I have to come back and watch this full thing.
Are they like all wires and like this kind of arm, or is it like do they have skin?
They have skin.
What?
Yes. Like the penis is like a dildo, but it's like attached to the man. Then they have the female has like the vagina and it has like the clit. Dude, it is hilarious.
Like a flesh tube.
Yes.
Oh man,
it is hilarious.
Maybe I'll just get a male and a female and just watch them do it.
Take notes.
I remember hearing somewhere in the news that somewhere there was somebody wanted to open up like a brothel with sex robots. But like the nearby town was like, no, we don't want this shit in our town. Right. They like shut it down or something. But just the whole concept of I'm gonna pay money to and go and just like fuck any robot I want.
I think the show is called My Sex Robot. I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, dude, it's like fucking hilarious. But it's like, what type of sick person do you have to be attracted to something like I understand it gets lonely for some people.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have the dignity. Like I
have carry on a relationship with it.
Yes,
like
or just like
that do that with blow up dolls and stuff.
Like they probably come home from like going out.
Conversation if we.
What?
We were talking about sex bots.
Yeah, but that's good to have recorded.
I thought we were recording.
Oh, I thought we were recording.
Oh, all right, go ahead, continue. I'll edit that out.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's hilarious, man. Like you come home from a night out or something like that, you're like, no one's answering the phone. You're like drunk texting. You're like, oh fuck it, let me turn to Sophia.
Camera pans to the corner with Sophia, just slumped over. Fuck it, I'm drunk. Dude, what if she had like she was like hooked up to like Alexa or something? You could be like, hey Alexa. And then, I don't know, just play some sexy music. Let's get it on, man.
But like the things that you have to do to her for her to do to you, right? So you have to fix her hand to touch you a certain way and things. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh,
I think I might have to try it, man. But although the picture you showed me, that I mean, that's not attractive to me. I thought it was going to be a lot different than that.
They have some that are
what
like
what are we talking about?
We're talking about sex bots. There's a new show on Netflix. Well, I don't know if it's a series or maybe just
like a documentary.
On these new sex robots, and they look like real. Like you've seen Sophia. We talked about Sophia a few episodes ago.
I hate Sophia.
But it's spitting image of like Sophia, but they're creating them with like the
you
women
mean the ones with like the gyrating hips and
dude, it's a real robot that
and
walks
the ones
and
that
talks.
has like a voice and different shit
yes,
like that.
It's just like Sophia. However, I was telling him like this is bullshit. Like the males, like the penises are like 14 fucking inches. Like it's not even like real. Like, but I can see
Listen
women.
to how jealous you are.
That's like as long as that fan blade up there.
Oh my gosh!
Like this is a little different than the like that looks a lot more realistic.
But that's how they were.
Oh really?
Yeah, they were like really realistic, dude. It was like I thought it was funny, but I'm gonna catch that show and watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're jealous of the male sex bots. They have vibrant.
Because
I like how the mouth is just permanently
like that. But it goes back to what like Jay Bell was saying. Like, are these, even with like the robots, are they like creating these things to finally take over the human race? Are these sex bots going to take over real men?
You know why?
Of course, I'm going to be jealous.
Well, the sex bots. You know why the sex bots were created? You know why the sex bots were created?
Give me more of an elaborate understanding.
The sex bots were created because there were the male to female population in China is significantly different. So the sex bots were created so, you know, every guy doesn't fuck the same girl over and over and over and over again. That's what I've read that in an article. But yeah, that's so, and they just became popular. And, you know,
I think there's a lot of lonely people out there.
I was just about to say people started manufacturing them. And honestly, it's a really good market for, you know, the introverts that don't really go out, or the people who don't date and different things like that. Like and I mean, I guess fucking something's better than masturbating.
Would that be cheating, do you think? What do you think about that?
Like if you were sex, remember, did you hear about the sex brothels?
Yeah, I was talking to Art about that.
Yeah,
okay.
I was completely oblivious to that.
Yeah, so I don't think it would be cheating, because if that's cheating, masturbating's cheating.
I mean,
you're not having sex with anything real.
Yeah, but you're fucking something else.
So
like
so what exactly
your
is
own
cheating?
Body when you're masturbating.
Okay. You're fucking your own body when you're masturbating. Okay,
I apologize. I don't mean to use that language, but
this is no filter.
Sorry.
I hate when you do that, but
I'm saying sorry.
Yeah, that's true. You're fucking your own body when you're masturbating, but I mean, you're still fucking something. That's the point, because you said you're fucking something else. That's exactly what you said, right? So what's the difference between fucking your own body or fucking a pocket pussy or fucking like one of those little asses or whatever they have versus a sex bot?
Fucking asses?
Yeah, the little like rubber asses.
They have rubber anuses?
Yeah, at the sex store.
What?
We're going to take a trip to the sex store.
Right after we go speed dating.
Yeah. We're going to go before, so that way we can carry our sex toys into speed dating. Wait till Double D comes back. We're going to use that. But yeah. Double D, we're going to go to the sex store, and we're going to buy some stuff from the sex store, and we're going to take it to speed dating. How do you feel about that?
Why?
Because it's fun.
What logic did I miss that you came to that conclusion?
Okay, so listen. All right, first off, let's get one thing straight. When we go speed dating, if me and Jay Bell act like assholes, these women are going to be like, wow, we do not want to be around them. And then you guys are going to be a lot better. And, you know, so speed dating, you have like 50 dates and they're 2 minutes each. Art can get 50 women pregnant. 50 women, that's a record.
It's possible, but I would never do that.
I think you're confusing speed dating with orgy. I think
either or. We can go to a
like
swingers
same
club.
thing.
Yeah.
So where do the sex toys come in?
Because Art says that fucking a sex bot is cheating, and I was like, well, if that's the case, masturbating is cheating. Fucking one of those little rubber asses is cheating. You know, different stuff at the pocket pussies and different things like that. Those are cheating as well. If fucking a sex bot is cheating, right? I don't think it's cheating.
Yeah, I see your logic.
But I mean,
but
also,
if you're in
I
a
would
relationship,
never fuck a sex bot. So
yeah, if you're in a relationship, I don't think there's any need for any of those things.
That's not true. I mean,
masturbating, yeah. I mean, you're not going to stop masturbating.
It's all forms of masturbating. Like
why have sex?
Imagine trying to put one of those little rubber asses under your bed whenever she walks in the house.
But if you're in a relationship, why would you be having sex with that? That's different than masturbating in my eyes.
No, it's not. It's still masturbating. It's still masturbating. You're still entertaining yourself to the point where you orgasm. It's still masturbating. Like that, it doesn't change because you're using a different utensil.
Well, I don't like if you're gonna masturbate. In my eyes, just masturbate. If you want to have sex with something,
You gotta be an expert fisherman
just
to
have
be a
sex.
masturbator. Eh?
No,
Nah.
no.
Okay. Anyway, get the fuck off your phone, Art. Anyway, every time I say that, he like pops his head up real fast, like I'm his mom. No, but
listen,
it's the same thing.
I think we should leave this conversation up to like our female listeners. Well, so if your man is caught masturbating, what's the reaction? Like, is
Yes.
that do they take it in I don't know. Do they look at it as cheating, or do they look at it as a bad thing? Because in the movies, they always portray like, "What are you doing?
Right.
You shouldn't be
like
doing
straight
that."
masturbating or masturbate like this douche over here masturbates with
Whoa.
a rubber butt. Because apparently,
rubber butt.
that's how you masturbate.
I don't use a rubber butt.
He
to
uses a
masturbate.
rubber butt and he watches passionate porn.
Oh my gosh.
He passionately anal drills.
First off,
That's so
I
disgusting.
have zero
That's
sex
like-
toys in this house. There is nothing wrong with using your hand.
You don't have a
to
flashlight?
masturbate. What's the like to?
The pocket pussy.
No. What? Ew. First
mean,
off, how do
ew?
you wash those things?
I know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
I thought you said flashlight at first. I'm
Well,
like, you're
it
doing
looks
it
like
wrong,
a flashlight.
buddy. You shoving it up your ass?
Yeah,
what you're doing?
that's why I looked at him like, what's a
You
flashlight?
see in someone's window, like just keeps flashing on and off. Like, oh, he's definitely ramming it in there.
Is this SOS? I'm like, you taking notes?
Opens his mouth and the light comes up, turning your tongue into the bat symbol. Ah.
So yeah, I think that's a good idea, Art. Let's pose that female listeners out there.
Well, in that case,
what's
I
your
have
view?
3 questions.
What's your view on masturbating?
1, how do you feel when your significant other masturbates? 2, what do you do about your significant other masturbating? And 3, if they were if they had sex with a sex bot, is it cheating?
Very good questions.
And we would really like to hear from you guys and get back to us at the email or Facebook or any of our socials, empnetwork412@gmail.com. But moving on. Affirmative reaction, Art, as you're on your phone,
Is
as
it-
usual.
Oh, that's what we're calling it? Reaction?
I mean,
What did you call it?
It was just,
Legacy something?
it's
porn?
It's legacy admission, okay, into college campuses.
What's that?
Okay, so basically, there's basically an affirmative action clause that requires college boards to admit a certain amount of, students who are of different ethnic backgrounds, and that is they say it's to diversify the student population, because that's how the college is to prepare you for the real world, and that's how the real world's going to be. So if there were standards to where it was just all white being admitted because they may have the better grades, or they may have, then essentially they wouldn't be getting the college experience, because I mean I guess, yeah, there's some areas or so that are predominantly white, and that's just what it is, but it's basically to diversify ethnicity at a school. You have an individual by the name of Jeff Bloom who is trying to eradicate that.
Jeff Goldblum?
No, his name is Edward Bloom.
What is the deal with you fucking up names today?
Dude, I always mess up names. My mom's the same way. She butchers every name.
Elijah Fields, though. Where did you even get Fields?
Because I heard, I know a guy who's whatever. Anyway, so so he wants to kill that affirmative action in higher education, and I mean his stance on it is, I mean, I get it, but like I said, I think college is to prepare you for the real world. So in most real world experiences, it's not going to be all just one population. Well, at least in America, it's going to be some sort of diverse, especially in the workplace, right? You're going to have to communicate with other ethnicities. You're going to have to talk to them, whatever. Whether you're prejudiced or not, it's going to happen. You're going to have encounters with other ethnicities. But he wants to eradicate that. And I just want to get you guys' take on that. I want to see, what you guys think.
I totally agree that if you want a taste of the real world, there are other races, other ethnicities out in the real world. But I personally hate forced diversity. It just seems really disingenuous. I don't like it. It also, like, when we talk about how the real world is, obviously there's other races and other ethnicities, but it's also, we are tribal. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. We're a tribal people. So even when you get into the quote-unquote real world, it's not necessarily you're going to work among a diverse crowd. You may not live around a diverse crowd. So while the world is diverse, it doesn't mean that you're going to be in that world. Does that make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I'm kind of working out as I'm talking how I feel about this, because that's how I feel about it. I'm not a fan of forced diversity, because, like, with college admissions, you're not basing it on academics. And sorry, guys, I know I'm speaking slow, but like I said, I'm just trying to work this out as I talk. So, I don't know. Anybody else remorseless?
Well, do you guys get manicures and pedicures? Like, have you ever got that done?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you notice how Art didn't answer that because he's on his phone.
No, I think that's, come on. Who does that? Well, like, what guy? Come on, relax.
But anyway,
sorry.
So it can be good. So let me get this straight. He's saying the best should go in despite the rest.
Yes.
Or despite the race, right?
Yes.
I agree with that. Because if you should, the qualified should be able to make admissions, but that I don't necessarily know. Like, it is the real world. You're going to meet other races and different things like that. I agree with that as well.
Go
ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just thought maybe you were kind of fumbling. So
I am, because I'm trying to think of what I'm saying at the same time. Like, because here's the thing. I'm always a fan of earning your keep. I say that all the time, right? I say you work hard, and you always have to strive to be the best, strive to be successful. And the reason why is for situations like this, because if you are the best, which you should be, you wouldn't have a problem with this whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And that is the reason why I called it affirmative reaction. Because this is kind of like the colleges is kind of like affirmative action. You know how you have to let people in. That's what happened with affirmative action, right? Mm-hmm. And it was good that it happened, but at the same time, a lot of people didn't agree with it. How I feel about it, I'm kind of on the fence about it, because, like, you should give these people a chance, like different races and different things like that. You definitely have to give everybody a chance. I 100% agree with that. But what if they squander that chance because they just made it in because you had to meet a quota?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the source of the outrage, right? Maybe you don't deserve to be here, and also it's kind of. But
as long as it's not racially hated,
you're only here because of the color of your skin.
As long as it doesn't have like a racial like stigma to it, I believe that it's fair that the best of the best should go in, because I mean the best of the best are going to make it out of college.
Yeah, if you take away competition, you get complacency.
Yeah.
there's no room for growth if you take away.
Or I may be misreading it. You gotta. Can you elaborate a little more?
That would be like if you had like football team, like high school, or let's take college since we're talking about college. So take away academics. Let's look at sports. If you were to have affirmative action in that, and like, I mean, am I wrong in saying that blacks would be better football player naturally?
All right, so let's go ahead and use that. Let's use that as an example. Like we can use a HBCU, right? And our HBCU historically black. Yeah. So let's go ahead and use that for example. If you look at those football teams, a lot of the players on there are black, and few of them are white, or so.
99% are black.
Yeah. So the point is with that, they're not saying like the thing about a football team, and Art, you can attest to this, and and it's just like fighting for me and just competition in general. The thing about it is the best gets on the field. The best plays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The football team's not like we need a white guy on the team. Right. The football player is like, okay, well, if this white guy is better than this black guy, guess who's starting?
Right. So what would happen if you took the same logic in academics and applied it to the football team? It would not turn out great.
I mean, somebody that may be better than the other person may not have that spot, and I'm not disagreeing with that at all. As long as it's not fueled by hatred. As long as it's not fueled by negativity. You're not going to please everybody. Everybody's not going to make the team. Everybody, like, we live in a world of participation fucking trophies, and it's ridiculous. However, I don't agree with it being I keep saying this because it's a very strong point. As long as it's not fueled by hatred, I think the best of the best should make it.
Mm-hmm. See, and I have a different standpoint, and I think it's good that I do or so. But okay, so let me tell you how it's stemmed. Are you gonna
fix the pop filter and move it to the mic so that way you can?
Dude, it's been the same the entire. Okay, whatever. It came up because there was a federal lawsuit that went to trial last month, and there's an organization. It's Edward Bloom's organization, Students for Fair Admission. And they're challenging Harvard's admission practices, arguing that the consideration of race in the process violates the Equal Protection Clause. However, let me look here. The Equal Protection Clause, let me find it. Where you at?
Well, I mean, while you're looking for that, Harvard is different, though. Harvard is more of a...
Well, that's why this came up, because there was a girl, I remember, it was a few years back, she didn't get admitted into the University of Texas. And I think he was the first one to stand up for that, and then now he's going at Harvard.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it should be different.
But it shouldn't be, but Harvard is different. Harvard is, like... See, and this is where you don't make rules for the exceptions. You make rules for the majority. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Harvard is Yale, these Ivy League schools. Let's be honest, they're predominantly white.
Yes.
And they're predominantly white because these rich kids, even if they don't deserve to get in, they make it in because their parents can pay that tuition. Right. So to get a scholarship or different things like that is very difficult to do, and to stay there academically, it's very difficult to do because, like, you have this feeling of not belonging in that school because you're not rich, you're not preppy, and different things. So Harvard has a different stigma than Ohio State. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So okay, so to argue the other side. To play devil's advocate, like from the position I took before, I could see that because of the history in this country, other races other than whites don't have the same schooling, right? Yeah. So like inner city schools don't have the same advantages maybe is like a suburban school.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, so maybe not as many black people get to go to college, or maybe can't afford college.
Right.
So maybe ideally in a society we want everybody equal. Okay, but because of the history in this country, everybody is not starting from the same place.
Yeah.
Still. So maybe we just need to accept that we're living in a time where this needs to be a place where we need to make certain exceptions to get other people up so that we're all on the same level.
But is that
in the future, our future generations won't have to worry about this.
And I think that's the problem with the schools. They consistently look at these places instead of looking somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? They like we'll use Pittsburgh schools for example. They would rather look at
Public?
Pittsburgh public schools. They would rather look at Perry than Oliver, right? You know what I'm saying? Like school-wise, because Perry's more preppy. It's a traditional academy, so they would rather look at Perry for people going to college than Oliver, which is a little more ghetto. Let's call a spade a spade.
They're
right?
like 2 miles away from each other, right?
That's not the point that I'm making, Art.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just using those as, or they would rather look at Brashear. You know what I'm saying? Brashear is more of a let's say white school, but it has a higher academic.
I think Shenley. I think you want to use Shenley there.
But Shenley's more diverse.
It's very diverse. That's the whole purpose of the school, though.
But see, I'm not using Shenley as the school. I'm using it as the schools that these people look at, and I don't think like. So what I'm saying is. Let's say Brashear is, when we were going to school, Brashear was predominantly white, correct?
No, I think we'll say 60-40. We'll say 60-40.
I'll say 70-30.
I would say 60-40 because you have kids that come from the Hill District and you have kids that come from that Beltuva region.
All right, so. Well, anyway, but the point that I'm making, all right, well, let's use Carrick. Can we agree with Carrick?
Yes, we can agree on that.
Let's use Carrick then. So Carrick's predominantly white. Right?
Yes.
All right. So these colleges would look at Carrick, and it doesn't necessarily have to be because the school is predominantly white. It's just academically, like they have more privilege than other schools.
But that's what I'm saying. Shenley was the highest academically.
You're missing the point. But all right.
No, go ahead.
All right.
Explain it one more time.
What I'm saying is these schools look at the same places over and over again, and that can
Do you mean the colleges?
Yeah, these colleges look at these places over and over again, and that could possibly be why, besides Bard, Harvard, and Yale, obviously, Bard the Ivy League schools, which is basically just a country club. Mm-hmm. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, so Bard, those two.
Their own.
These other colleges, they look at the same spots. Okay, we have a successor from Carrick, so we're going to go back to Carrick. So we're not going to look at Oliver, even though this person has straight A's, this person's valedictorian, because honestly, like, we've had a successor from Carrick.
Is that how colleges admit people, though?
I'm not sure.
I don't think that's...
I may be kicking them bail. I don't know how it works.
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know how it works. I may be kicking them bail, but I'm just saying, like...
I think maybe the problem, to solve the problem that we're talking about if the problem we're talking about is getting other ethnicities other than white into, like, equal representation in the colleges, perhaps, like, we need to treat the problem instead of the symptom, which would be, let's boost the high schools. Let's boost the education system of these places, like that you were naming,
like the inner city,
so that you don't
curriculum.
Yeah, so that you don't have to give advantages or special allowances to people. It's just naturally everybody gets the same education.
I like that. Actually,
I think that's the way it should be. But to your point, the reason why I said I was going to play devil's advocate too is because of the demographics, right?
Okay.
So you have a lot. Like, I came from a city high school to where.
Just say Shenley.
We were ranked pretty high academically around the whole region.
Okay.
So that's like all the suburban schools and all that. But I think the stigma is that people look, oh, well, city, they might, they're no. But I think when I look at like some of the other city schools, those kids probably don't have the privilege to go to college because of the curriculums that they have, right? They may not be, highly academically. So I look at colleges admitting that type of diversity as well, not just race. I think if you are you have a bar, right? Like, and you have a certain, I think they have basically to get admitted most. I mean, you may have to score whatever on the SAT and have certain grades or so. So you have a requirement. I think if people meet that requirement, and you want to, I think they should still diversify, right? So if you meet the requirement. And say, for instance, you have a 1080 on the SAT and someone has a 1320 and they're white and you're black, that doesn't necessarily mean that the 1320 is going to get in. I don't believe that. I think that they should be diversifying for the reason of, like I said, the real world experiences. That's what college is supposed to be for, right? And they need that diversity on campus, I think. I think now, granted, I think people always looked at me, oh, you're a football player, that's the only reason you're here. And I'm like, no, I scored fucking high on it. I mean, I have really strong academics, you know what I mean? But they never looked at football players like that. They think that was the only reason. However, I think they do look at blacks and Hispanics and all and say, well, you only got in because of affirmative action. Yeah. And it could be true. And it might not be true. Some people probably, were they had great grades, they score high,
So, but another thing that I say, sorry to cut you off, but another thing that I say is if I run a charity and somebody gives me $1 million for my charity, I'm not going to ask why they gave me $1 million. I'm just going to say thank you and, use it for my charity. You get what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you're saying, and you even said that it's negative, like saying you're only here because of affirmative action. It doesn't matter. I'm here.
I'm here. It doesn't matter. And I think, like, the biggest thing is I think that my personal opinion, I feel that there should be diversity in the selection process. I think that they need to pull people from different demographics, different races, things of that sort, who have different backgrounds. And not just the top competitors that are going to get in. Because if we're honest here, I think we're like 8% of the United States population blacks.
13.
13 now? Okay. Whatever it is, I think there's going to be an influx of white individuals who, if that was the rule, right?
You know what? That's a good point. That you got to look at the percentages of whites to blacks. So maybe more whites are getting into this college, but you got to look at how many more whites are in this country.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that there would be an influx of just whites being admitted. That's a
really good point.
And so I personally feel that there needs to be diversity. I think that there should be a selection process that goes on, and that they have to have requirements to fulfill when it comes to ethnicities,
So, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Now that you put it that way, that does make sense to. I mean, and let's call it spade a spade. It's still forced diversity, but it does make sense to force that type of diversity because the ratio is so strongly shifted.
Large,
because it's not just whites to blacks 13%. It's whites to colored people, like all black and brown people.
Right.
It's only 13% of the U.S. So that is
right?
a very big difference. Hey Google, what percentage of the United States is colored?
My apologies, I don't understand.
Yeah, because that was a racist question, man.
What percentage of the United States?
She's like, I'm not getting involved in that.
My apologies, I don't understand.
I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
I don't know how to answer the question.
I will not say the C word.
Please manually Google that.
Hey Google, what percentage of the U.S. population is African American?
%. On the website news.gallup.com, they say, Americans generally overestimate, to a significant degree, the percentage of the U.S.
Okay. All right, Google.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 12.3% of the U.S. population is black and 12.5% is Hispanic.
Oh, so that's almost 25% of yeah. But then you have to take Asian Americans and all those into consideration as well.
Hey,
Here's
Google.
a summary from the website news.gallup.com.
What the fuck did
Results
y'all do?
from March 26 to 28, however, show that slightly less than 1 in 10 Americans can accurately identify that the population of either blacks or Hispanics in this country falls between 10% and 14%.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Ask her how many whites there are.
According to Wikipedia, a common form, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China, is a retort to an irrelevant suggestion. Do you want a little more context?
No.
No problem.
Thank you, Google.
We'll ask, like you said, ask.
Happy to help.
Okay.
All right, relax.
Hey, Google. What percentage of the U.S. population is Caucasian?
Here's a summary from the website en.wikipedia.org. The white make up 61.3% of the nation's total, with the total white population being 76.9%.
76.9.
How'd she go from 61 to 76?
That's yeah. I don't know how that happened, but that can't be right. It has to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
Because if you take blacks that are 12.5 and Asian Americans are 12.3, it gives you damn near 25, right?
Hispanics. Not Asian.
Hispanics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So if
and then
Hispanics and African Americans make up almost 25%,
25%
then you still have
alone.
Asians
Yes.
and
you have all
Native Americans,
Middle Eastern. You have
Middle Eastern
yeah.
Arabs.
So
Yeah.
probably 60.
Well, Asians, they include Asians with Middle Easterns. I'm not. Now
Really?
listen,
I
I'm
don't
not
think so.
including Asians with
What?
Middle Easterns, but they do.
I don't think that's
They do.
correct.
The fuck? How?
Because Middle East, it's Middle East Asia.
I've never heard that shit before.
Well, yeah, technically it is in Asia, but you don't consider Russia Asians, right?
Well, Russia's in Europe.
No.
Hey Google, is Russia in Europe?
According to Wikipedia, Europe is a continent located entirely in the northern hemisphere.
I don't know why you have to
of the
Google this,
eastern
dude.
hemisphere.
This is... Is this...
Someone
this,
didn't pay attention to social studies.
I was going to say, is this inner city education?
Why do you think the affirmative action's there?
And this is my case in point.
Okay, so... Where was I going to go with that?
You think you're big time? Oh, do you, huh? With your self-proclaimed hot topics, mediocre discussions, cookie-cutter charisma, non-personal personalities? That's just all cute, but this is no filters. We can give a fuck less. Don't panic. We'll only sort out what's what. And after you've realized you're at the bottom of the hill and you can't see us, you can reach me, Art, and the rest of the No Filters family at Facebook, EMP Network, Instagram, EMP Network 412, no spaces, and Twitter at network_EMP. Man, fuck this. I'm out.
Art, where you going?
But I think this was a good discussion, you know, to get the takes of other individuals, because my opinion may be biased, but that's just kind of how I feel. You know, I think there needs to be a balance, and when you look at life and what we stand for is in America, you know, it's justice for all. You
Right,
know? And
right.
I think everyone should have the opportunity to go. And then plus, I mean, I think it does more than that, right? It does more for analytics, you know, looking at certain demographics and things of that sort. When people who do research and study, I think it goes a long way with that too. But I think that there needs to be diversity, because there's a larger population of whites in America. And I think that with that, and we'll just call it spade a spade, I think there's more, I won't say privileged white people, but I think that there's probably a vast majority, a larger majority of white people who would be in that influx of college admission, and for everyone else, it would be so much harder for them to make it in.
So you also have to look at the financial aspect of it. Whether they could, just because you get into, can you afford to keep going there? That's kind of like, I always thought the premise of like those makeover shows, the home where they like give you a brand new house,
Yeah.
and they rebuild this mansion for you, and then
I
for
was
these
reading
people
an
who are
article-
destitute,
I was
yeah,
reading
you're
an
not going to
article
afford the
on that.
taxes.
Yeah,
and
I was about to
utilities.
say, I was reading an article on that where a bunch of people had to sell those houses.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it looks nice, doesn't it? That's
It's
kind of like
beautiful.
affirmative action. It looks nice.
It looks nice, yeah.
But it can get, I mean, the nitty gritty of it. So let me ask this. So it's been a while since I applied to college or filled out forms or anything. I'm assuming that there's a race box to check.
There is, yes.
What do you guys think about, should that even be on there? Shouldn't you just look at the the application?
Well,
see,
I think that goes
now that goes to the point because like if there isn't a race box, how are you filling that? I guess you can say quota.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. What if you just? It goes back to, should we even
And
have
then you'll
it?
have to go
Shouldn't
by
you
the
just-
name. Tyrone. Yeah, he's definitely getting
Come
in.
on, don't do that. Easy.
Or
Easy.
I guess they could go by area, like school, like you were saying. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a predominantly black school.
And I
Let's
think that's
get
what
him
they
in
should
here
go
or something.
by more than like race, like more than you're black, you're in. I think they should go by, okay, well, let's get somebody from the inner city, or let's get somebody from the west side, north side, south side, east side, and different things like that.
I think it needs to be a checkbox because if you look at I went to inner city school, and then you look at my name, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, they wouldn't be able to tell I was black, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just because I went to that school,
Still
like
hard
our
to
school
tell.
was like, it was like how Google said America was. It was like 60%, but it was reversed, right? So my school was like 60% black.
Okay.
And then it was like, I think it was like in the 20s or mid 20s or like low
looking at me.
30s.
I didn't go to Shinley.
Well, no. It like foreign exchange. So
okay.
the premise of my high school was it was an international studies high school.
Yeah,
And so we had a very low percentage of
Privileged
whites.
motherfucker.
right.
We had a very low percentage of
You're
whites
telling
in
me.
high school. And if they had to select from that school or so, and we just we're going to take this inner city school, I don't think they would be able to just kind of point out who was white, who was black with like higher grades or so, right?
Right.
Like even the program I was in, which was International Baccalaureate, I was the only black male in it, and I'm pretty sure that, and I don't mean this in any type of negative way, but I'm pretty sure that those kids that were in that program had higher grades and test scores and probably qualified more because it was a college program. Mm-hmm. So if they looked at that high school and they took those names, more than likely they probably grabbed all 8 white people from the high school. You know what I mean? It was an inner city high school. So
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a checkbox or so.
Just to make sure of diversity, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this is going from the premise of we should have forced diversity.
I think so. Don't shoot me over it.
I'm
But,
not going to shoot you, dude.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, like I said, after you made that point about the percentages, I agree with the whole forced diversity just because of the percentages. Because it would be difficult to, like you said, to tell the difference between them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say about it. I kind of agree with it. Just like you made a solid point.
It was a great conversation, man. It's good to get insight.
But I do still think that and that's my problem. Like I'm kind of torn because I'm a firm believer of working hard.
But even look at the work environment, right? The work climate. Like there's EEOC. They have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to jobs. So I think it should mirror in that sense if they're doing it, with hiring.
Yeah.
It just creates opportunity for those of other ethnicities opposed to just traditional white.
Like I said earlier, maybe we just have to accept this is the time we live in, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we don't have to have those things.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I hope that we're working towards.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just last thing. Trump, my mom and I talk about this, like, because you have a country to where the percentage of whites is it's going down, right? And maybe if it gets to that point to where it's something even, or if it's where whites are actually in a minority one day, then maybe they can excuse that process, But I don't know.
We're talking a very, very, very long time from now, though.
Sorry. Okay.
Like that's for our future kids.
Future.
But yeah, moving on. Anybody want to take this one?
Is that the? Did you change the order there?
I mean that was empty, so kind of just move that up there.
Okay, yeah. Well, speaking of Trump, how do you guys feel about him in the media? So this was bringing this up because of his. I immediately started gesturing with my hand.
You know what you got to do, Double D.
Fake news.
Fake news. Listen, how do you feel about?
I have a question to ask you.
No. Excuse me. Excuse me.
But the question.
Sit down.
Hey,
I did not call on you.
No, but I asked you a certain.
Excuse me.
But there's a question.
Very rude.
Hey,
you are a very rude person.
But I was just going
CNN
to say I like your
should
hair.
be ashamed.
What?
The No Filter podcast should be ashamed of themselves.
How about them Yankees?
The Yankees are a great, great team, actually. Those Boston Red Sox, horrible, horrible people. It's actually fake news. The Yankees should have won.
No, but here's the thing. So, excuse me. Like I'm trying to ask you.
Excuse me.
What?
Excuse me.
What?
But the facial expression.
So that was pretty much his encounter with Jim Acosta from CNN the other day. Did you guys see that?
It was ridiculous.
What was the other reporter's name too? What was her name?
The clip that I saw would show two men. The guy after Jim Acosta was I don't know.
Yeah,
that
where he
man's
was
name.
like, I don't like you either.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not a big fan of yours either. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, sir, sorry. Like he just immediately caved. Like you're right. I'm a piece of shit.
Pussy.
And there was another one where a woman was trying to
oh
get
yeah,
his
you're
attention,
right.
And
you're
he
right.
was like, no, you gotta be.
You know what? You bring up a good point. And the way that he treats women, and this was a black woman, the way that he treated her compared to some of the men was so much more dismissive than he was treating the men. He was like, he didn't even want to acknowledge her. Absolutely.
Huh,
I think so.
Wow.
But just, and there was that White House intern. I thought this was hilarious. She tried to take the mic away from Jim Acosta. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. And she's just like, when Jim Acosta would not give the mic up to the next.
She ducked down.
She's like, she looked at Trump. She's like, so helpless. She's like, what do I do? I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a very lovely lady. I just thought it was funny within the context of the situation.
What are you guys? I mean, honestly, there's pretty much nothing this guy can do that's gonna surprise me. Like, if it wouldn't surprise me if he ordered a nuclear strike because he got outvoted. Like, it wouldn't surprise. Like, nothing this guy does shocks and surprises me. It's entertaining and I find it hilarious, but I can see how it is offensive and extremely dangerous. But there's nothing he does that surprises me.
Not at all.
So yeah, it's definitely entertaining, and he definitely has not, I think, lived up to all the hype that people were, all the shade people were throwing at him. Oh, this is the end of this, and he's gonna, he's a dictator, and this. I mean, none of that came to pass. I mean, I think he's a horrible, horrible person. But as far as everything that people were saying were going to happen, hasn't really happened. What do you guys think?
What do you mean saying like what?
I mean, this is the end of democracy. He's a dictator. Obviously, none of that happened.
I mean, democracy is going to fold regardless. With or without. I mean, he may have expedited the process, but with or without him, democracy is it has to crash in order to get built back up. That's just that's how most things are. Everything has to end in order.
I thought we were in a good place
start.
though when we left off with Obama. I thought we were in a really good place as a society. I think there were a lot of issues that got handled that were fixed from that Bush. I'm not talking about just like people. I'm talking about like financial crisis and things.
Okay.
So I think there were a lot of things that got fixed, and just I don't know. With him being in, I think it's just very distracting. Like, how is he entertaining all this other stuff when we have things on the agenda as a country that needs to need catered to?
Right. So
to be the devil's advocate. Sorry to cut you off, Double D, but to be the devil's advocate, you said a lot of things like financially with Obama and different things like that. So what's changed since now this is just coming from a place of ignorance, but what's changed since Obama versus Trump?
Okay, so that's
being in the office. What changed?
That's actually what I was going to bring up. So it technically is. We're not doing that bad. Unemployment is the lowest that it's been in a very long time. I think maybe even since the beginning of this century. Okay, it's down to, I forget what the exact percentage is. Maybe you can look that up while I'm talking.
Yeah.
Art, but it's very low.
Hey, Google. What's the percentage of unemployment in the U.S.?
Current.
The unemployment rate of United States of America was 4.0% in June 2018.
Okay, so whenever at the end of Obama or during Obama's administration, it at its highest, I think it was near 10% during Obama's. But we have to understand that was during the financial crisis,
Right.
and everything. And when he left office, I think it was around 5%.
It was around 5.
So it is, but to accredit that all to Trump, how much you can accredit that to the president in general, I don't know. Somebody much smarter than I can answer that. But you can definitely see the trend over the last 10 years, since its highest at 10% after the crash of 2008. It has been going down steadily. It may have gone up a slight percentage, but in general, it's been going down.
Static in there, but it's decreased. So, but I think that everything that was stabilized, I think there was a lot of stuff that was stabilized from the Obama administration.
Okay.
So there you have the housing market that was revitalized, right? They had the subprime mortgages in 2008 that caused to the crash, right? That put us in a
Recession.
recession. Yes. You have, oil, housing, unemployment, healthcare. I think there were a lot of things that administration did in 8 years to bring us back. However, I do think that this administration had inherited something really good, because I think when Obama stepped in office, I looked at him like, how the fuck are you going to fix this? Like, what? You want to go in as president? Not me. But so I don't know. I look at this administration. I think that what they're doing, like when you look at the data, I think it makes sense and it looks good, right?
Yeah.
However, there's all this other bullshit with them.
Okay, yeah, that's I lost my train of thought, but that was my point, that regardless of, we're actually doing pretty well right now, but all of that nobody's talking about because of all these antics, this bullshit of his personality.
Yeah.
Which, and just to bring it together as a whole on the subject, Trump versus the media, I don't like it. I hate the way he treats the media. The phrases that he uses,
But the thing is,
the enemy of the people, is not something that we should be saying in a democracy
but
that we live in.
But the thing is, I personally think he treats the media like he does everybody else.
He does.
I think he attacks the media more. But if normal people came up to him and spoke to him, like, I'm pretty sure he would treat them the same way.
And it's because of exposure, right? The media exposes things.
Yeah.
And this is why I think he just has this, negative connotation of anyone in media. He just, it's all fake news. It's whatever they say about me is not real. I'll tell you what's real.
Yeah.
You sound like you're about to sneeze when you did that.
He talks like he's always about to fucking sneeze. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's that's not something someone in that position should be saying.
Exactly.
He's very uncouth. He talks like a New Yorker. He's from New York.
Yeah.
He talks like a New Yorker. He's very crass. And a big thing with people when he was running is, I like this guy. He speaks his mind. He talks like a regular guy. That has
Is that what you
nothing
want to lead you? Yeah, like you think about, is that what you really want as a leader?
Yeah. That has nothing to do with your leadership qualities.
Yeah.
The two aren't equated.
Well, you also got to keep in mind, he is not a politician. He's a
businessman.
reality TV star.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, so he's ruthless by nature because because of that. So, he may run run companies, but to run a country, you don't just have running a company. You have you're profit motivated. You have your interests. You want to make sure your company does well. It translates a little bit like you want to make sure your country does well, but you're representing. Like when you're the owner of a company, it's your thing. When you're the president of the United States, you're doing this for other people.
You have to take all that into consideration. Other people's, yeah.
Yeah, you're representing us. We hired you. Okay, you don't own this country like you own your company. So you have to represent all of us not just the people that you like.
I agree.
Do you think there's a bias with certain media outlets? Like, do you think that Fox is
There's always been and there's always going to be.
Well, I never, like, when I was in college, I never seen the thing with Fox. Maybe I was just naive, right?
And that's the thing. Like, you've never seen it because you've probably never felt as if you had to see it, or you were only looking at one side all the time. And if you consistently look at one side, you're not going to be able to see the bias from the other side. There's always been a bias on both of these things.
I watched all the media outlets. You know, I would watch like our local news to see what they would have to say about something that was going on in the world. I would look up, you know, news sites, things of that sort, CNN, Fox, you know, all these different things I would watch, and I never understood it until more recent, to where people were like, Fox is fucking racist.
Yeah.
They're, you know,
Especially in this last election.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is that recently watching the documentary on Netflix about the 90s, was it, I think it was the 90s, not the 80s. I think it was the 90s one where it was whenever the news channels first sprouted, CNN, like when Ted Turner started CNN, it's
90s.
like cable news all the time. This was something so new. And then Fox News, Fox had a news. So, I mean, within our lifetimes, this has become a thing. These media channels that are slanted completely one way. And that is, if you look at how that changed an entire society, because now, all you have to do is ask someone what news channel they listen to, and you can pretty much get a feel for where they stand politically.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think that that's only in the last 25 years.
But a lot of things on that as well, though, is people are looking for a reason to dismiss you, especially if you're on the opposite side. So if I'm talking to you, Double D, and I'm saying something, and you're like, well, I don't agree with that, and I'm like, you're biased. Like, not even listening to you or anything like that. So you also have to stay cognizant of the fact that everything isn't biased, and you have to. And this is another thing, you got to understand where, like, because just because you disagree with something doesn't mean that station or that person or that news channel or they're biased. That means that they may have information that you don't have.
Yeah.
And they're using that information to further their point. That doesn't mean that they're biased. That just means they have the information that you don't have. So, and I'm not saying, and trust me, I'm saying the news channels are biased. They are. But the point that I'm making, I'm just talking about in conversational and like just, well, yeah, more of a conversational sake, that you have to look at these things and like, it's not bias just because they have further information. It just means they have further information, and you have to do your due diligence and confirm it. You know what I'm saying? And okay, well, maybe that is right. You know what I'm saying? So before you jump to the conclusion of just writing people off, because the problem is people are writing people off now. They're saying, yeah, well, you're biased. I'm not listening to anything you're saying, or you listen to that, and like you said, you can kind of find somebody's standpoint from the news that they listen to. I mean, so even if you find like the news that somebody's listening to, and you're using that, and they're using that for their argument, that may have been because they had information that they didn't have, and the information may be factual. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't put them at a bias level. You get what I'm saying? So you just have to be careful about jumping to that conclusion that person watches CNN, so they stand right here, because they may watch CNN because of the information that CNN's providing,
or that they sorry to cut you off, but that they watch CNN and Fox, so they get both sides.
Exactly.
And they just happen to give you information from CNN.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So moving along, kind of streamlining right into the midterm elections, and right after the elections, the best thing that I think came out of this was Jeff Sessions being fired.
I think
we were just talking about
got
this.
Jeff Sessions fired. We
did.
may have to stop.
No Filter podcast.
I better not get audited because of you fuckers.
If you look at it, so Trump.
That was art that got Jeff Sessions fired.
If you look at it, a lot of stuff that's been going on this week, you can tell that whatever's happening, he's trying to cover something up. You can tell. If you look at the Jeff Sessions thing, if you look at because Sessions, I think, was the one who wouldn't fire Comey, right? I think when he was asked to fire Comey, he said he wouldn't. And Comey is doing the investigation, right? So I think he got rid of Sessions, you know. I think everything that's been happening, it's been to cover something up.
What do you think that is?
But here's the problem with that.
Well, even now, look at it. We won the House, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Democrat, so don't. This isn't. But I'm not biased, right? We won the House, and now we can create an investigation on his taxes and off his financial records. Right. So I think there's things that he's trying to do now to cover certain things up, and that's why I think he was campaigning so hard to try to win the House, because it was hard. It was going to be a long stretch for us to win the Senate, right? But if we got one of those chambers, he knew that it was over with, and I think he there's something that's going to be revealed here in the next upcoming months.
Here's the problem with that. Like now, if Jeff Sessions feels slighted about whatever happened, it's going to be the whole Omarosa situation all over again. You know, it's going to be like
it's a tell-all situation.
Well, it's not even that, because it's. I think it's going to be more of a boy who cried wolf situation. Like, why weren't you doing this shit when you were hired?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of people that should have, if he is hiding something, and if something really is going down, these people should have said something earlier. Don't say something when you're disgruntled. It's like you're never supposed to listen to somebody's ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend after they break up. But you know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to listen to, like, if you broke up with a girl, Double D, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, why exactly did you break up? She's going to tell you a whole bunch of shit.
A skewed perspective.
Exactly. Yes. She's going to tell me a whole bunch of shit about you that's like, whoa, trying to make me not like you the same way that she doesn't like you. You know what I'm saying?
So, and we've seen this with Trump. Every time he's gotten rid of someone, you know, they're best friends while they're in the office, but as soon as he fires them, he's like, this is a horrible, horrible person.
Yes.
He did it with Banachek.
Yes.
And his other attorney general, Rex Tillerson.
It's been crazy. That's what I'm saying. All this stuff is distracting, first off. But, I mean, for the most part, when I look at the Sessions thing, I honestly feel that there's going to be something that's revealed here in the next few months that the American people don't know. And there's only but so much you can cover up. I mean, when you're in the public eye, public figure, you can cover up certain things. But when you're the fucking president, you can't cover shit up.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to get to it at a certain point in time, I think. And I don't know, man. I'm honestly happy now that the Democrats can have a say in some things. You know, I think the Senate still runs majority of all.
The House makes the laws, the Senate passes them.
They pass them, yeah. So I think the Senate, you know, but at the end of the day, I think that we have a chance now. At least we have a voice. Like I feel like
right.
I feel like refreshed, you know, in a sense.
The I can't remember the guy's name that he appointed as acting attorney.
The new guy?
Attorney General, yeah.
I forgot his name.
But anyways, he's just an interim guy. And one of the names that I heard being kicked around was Chris Christie.
Oh, yeah.
For being the new Attorney General.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it's just like, please, God, please. That is hilarious. Because all I can think about when I see that guy is the Curb Your Enthusiasm music playing. Did you guys ever see that? Fine.
Oh my god!
Just him, just looking so dumbfounded, like he has no idea what's going on. And I thought this is going to be gold. I mean, just fodder for comedy right there. but looking at it more seriously, I mean, honestly, that's the Attorney General position. This is the highest. The person in charge of the Department of Justice, somebody qualified, is who you need in there. I don't know exactly what Chris Christie did, except he was governor. I don't know if he's ever been a law man or an attorney at all, but he just, I mean, should not be the highest person in the land in charge of the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right.
Well, wait, one more thing on this, right? So there was I forgot the gentleman's name. It was a black guy who was running, I think, for governor of, was it Florida or so? And the race was like neck and neck. And he pulled out.
Andrew Gillum.
He pulled out like right before they read off. Like,
unlike you.
When he's impregnating all of these women and men.
But he pulled out right before like the race was over with, like before they counted like all the ballots.
They usually do that though.
But what I'm saying is, it wasn't even projected that he was going to lose.
Yeah, that's how Stacey Adams was as well. Like Stacey Adams didn't pull out though; she stayed in like you do.
Maybe somebody had something on him.
No, he was
told him to drop out.
he was actually on the Breakfast Club. Yeah, he was actually on the Breakfast Club live. They were down in Florida, and he was running a decent campaign. They're also going for a recount.
Yeah, did you hear about that bullshit with ballots down there?
Yeah, with the mail and different shit like that. Yeah,
like there's always something in Florida, man.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So this is no longer a political podcast. Don't kick me with those fucking combat boots again, Double D.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, feedback, listener feedback.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and edit that out. I don't think we have any this week.
I don't think so.
So, all right. I think this was my article, right? All right. So, do you guys know what a sex bit is?
Please do tell. I'm sure Art knows.
Art definitely knows what a sex bit is.
I don't.
A sex bit is a Fitbit for your penis. Let everybody soak that one in. Come on.
So, does it monitors activity?
It monitors activity. It monitors your heart rate. It monitors your blood flow. It also monitors how many pumps and like how hard and different things like that. All of these things that's happening.
How do you measure how hard something is?
The intensity and different things like that with
the passion, how much passion there is.
Oh, my fucking
is that how you... It's like on a
passion
1 to 10 scale.
overload.
It's on a 1 to 10 scale. You're a 7 hard.
You know, one of my friends that listened to this podcast kept sending me love songs all weekend because he was really dick. All right, so the
romantic comedies.
All right, so I'm actually going to the fitness tracker. Tracks the daily routine.
What's the large vein in the penis?
A smart sex toy fits around the penis and tracks sexual activity from calories burned to numbers of thrusts to the intensity of intercourse. A smartphone app measures and other data sets before recommending new sex positions to help you have even better sex the next time. Made of silicone, the one-size-fits-all toy vibrates to help prevent stimulation during sex. It syncs to your smartphone via Bluetooth, and its battery lasts 7 hours without vibration or 2 hours with.
So is it like wearing a cock ring?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It is a smart cock ring.
A smart cock ring.
I would not want to wear that. Like, who
right,
gives a shit?
Yeah, okay.
I lasted, dude. Last night was crazy, man. I lasted. Can you believe 500 fucking
pumps?
Yeah, 500, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's an all-time high.
Post them on Instagram.
I know.
Keep taking screenshots. It has like a silhouette of your penis. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like I don't understand.
That's
why
absolutely insane. That. I would not wear that. Absolutely not. I do not want to put something.
Well, especially if it takes more
thing.
than a minute to kick in, Double D. It's not even. It's pointless to buy for you.
Oh,
what is?
Shots.
Why do I hang out with you? So, not to mention, like, I mean, just to have that lying around, like, Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're thinking about the wrong thing in an intimate moment, like to even
Yeah.
put that on.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like
The funniest thing is when the battery, like, what if she's a squirter? Like, is it water resistant?
well, it would have to be, I guess.
Because if you think about it, you're banging, she's squirting, and it's like,
electrocute you. Are you
That'll
coming
make
or are
you
you
come right
dying?
there. Make you come.
heart racing, and then it starts beeping because your heart's racing, but it's making your heart race. Beep, beep, beep.
I mean,
It's like, what if it was a defibrillator?
To shock you back to
Like, what if you kept it on, and then if you like went to go, and it was like, and it just sent the shock through your penis, and like,
I think that it may be good for research purposes,
yeah,
but
It's-
not to put on the consumer market. I think that is just fucking stupid. Like,
right.
who's doing that trowel? That's what I want.
Some people, they may, if they offer money, people do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
For
You would
studies.
It's like they
definitely
do
that
sleep
trowel
studies.
as long as there's a chick in there that you can impregnate with herpes.
But what if they made you do the study with one of those Sophia bots, the sex bots?
Oh, yeah.
You had to wear that with the sex bot.
Like,
I'll
what
do
if you
it.
had to plug in, like you had to like go in sideways and then turn, like you know how you have to like put two joints in and then turn it to lock them up. What if you had to lock into it, and she's on top of you like, oh baby,
Yeah,
fuck
like,
me,
I wonder,
fuck me,
because
ow,
it would
ow,
all be,
ow, ow.
If you think about it, like different positions, they would probably want to see like what the average stroke volume is in a position, you know, like different positions, or maybe if I don't know, like
Like,
what
so
are
do
different
you
things that
measure?
can-
Like, do you measure the size of your dick, or does that machine measure the size of your dick so that way it can like get the strokes and different things like that? Because if it's like one of those like footstep trackers, you can just stand here and shake it and it'll like.
So okay, so I'm thinking about what people were doing
go
with
like
this
this.
information.
Just sit there and keep moving up.
If you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm playing with it. Look at my phone.
Okay, so what are people doing with this information? Because it's not just you that has this information.
right?
Well, it says to have better sex, and like
but
it indicates changing position.
That's what you're doing with the information. There's other people using this information. Like, I just heard this. Did you guys know this? Like, whenever you go to a store and you use their Wi-Fi, yeah, that's nice. Oh, you're thinking, oh, thanks for letting me use free Wi-Fi. They're using that to track where you go around the store. And how much time you spend in a certain section. And they use that like they do with your Giant Eagle Advantage card. They monitor what you buy, and they adjust their promotions and things
All
to the
analytics.
information.
I
Yeah,
don't-
analytics.
but I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. That's kind
like-
of my question. Do you have a problem with somebody taking your personal information like that?
You wonder
mean,
if like
if,
condom
like-
companies would probably be using this.
Well,
Yeah, I guess maybe.
But they know that you go raw. Like, wouldn't they know? Like, if it was like, no, I'm saying like if you. So how would you put a condom on with this cock ring?
For cock ring,
Like,
I've
would
done
you
it
would you
before.
put the condom on and then put the cock ring on?
You put the condom on, you put the
so
cock
it's like
ring
a
at the
lock.
base.
It's like a lock. It's like, like
Yeah, it fastens it in.
oh man.
But you never worn a condom with a cock ring?
I've never wore every cock ring I've ever put on. It hurt. It's too small. I'm not saying it. I'm not
Jesus.
saying it to be funny. I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Okay.
Here
I've
we go.
never wore a cock ring. No, I'm telling you.
too
Every
masculine
time I
for
tried
you
to put one
guys.
on, it hurt.
All right,
But you
moving
tried to
on.
put one
What
of
else?
those fucking small rubber bands, like the ones that tie like. Anyway,
I'm saying, like, don't ask me.
You know what?
and
I'm
then
starting to
get
think
mad at
that's
my
the only
answer.
reason he brought this subject up,
yeah.
just so we could be led to
You
that.
ask me and then get mad at me. But anyway, so
All
like
right.
it just
That was
it
so
doesn't make
unnecessary.
it doesn't make any. No, it wasn't. You asked me.
I don't wear cock rings because they're just too
First off, why
Too
would I?
small.
What are cock rings for?
It's like a blood flow thing to increase something in. It's something that
to help stimulate better,
Yeah,
give you a
like, it's
better
for-
simulation,
right for blood flow and to
and to keep you hard. Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what it's for.
Why would you need like? What is
Some guys
what is
need
your
it, dude.
problem with your dick that you
Here we
can't
go.
stay hard?
Are you serious right now? People have all types of ED. All types of ED.
Art, do you have ED?
I don't have ED.
You have ED, don't you?
I used to.
What, did you use Blue Chew?
What is that?
Blue Chew is it's like a Viagra, except it's Like, I don't know. I think it's gum or something. I've never used it.
No, I used Cialis one time just to experiment with it.
Holy
dude,
fuck.
I could not go to sleep.
How many chicks did you get pregnant on Cialis?
No, it wasn't even like I was going all night or whatever. After I went and I finished, I like it. That whole thing where it stays erect. No, it doesn't. Like, it's not like that.
I heard it gives you like a hangover, like a headache.
It's dude. I could not sleep.
I could see that.
I was like, mentally, I was just like, man, what the fuck is going on with me? And I didn't eat chocolate tonight. Like,
whoa, wait,
drink like a Mountain Dew.
So you were like super paranoid. So it was like smoking fucking. It was like smoking weed before bed.
Yeah, I could see that because it fucks with your blood flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see that. Like if you have, if it takes blood away from your brain, you're gonna get a headache.
Yeah. It was really, really a weird time. I was like, I would never do this again. Like,
why would you take? Why did you get it?
Because
where did you get it from? Why would you get it?
I got it from one of our cousins. Anyway,
oh my God. I already know
black
who you
market
got it from.
Cialis.
I already know who you got it from. That is fucking horrible.
But look, guys do it all the time. Like, guys, man, I took a Viagra last night.
I'm remorseless.
I destroyed my girlfriend.
I'm sorry.
He's going to be 80 with a rock hard penis.
Let me tell you, I would be a great gift because that's how I want to die. I want to die having sex.
But how much would it suck if you died before you climaxed?
That would be
suck,
terrible.
man.
Like, I would be so pissed off. Like,
you're just like mid-stroke, and then you just...
I'm like, and then die, and then I still have
I guess you wouldn't know because you're dead, right?
Yeah, but what if, like...
It would still be
What if
terrible.
your heart stopped, you die, and then you climax? Like,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you know how bad that would be? I would be so... Oh, man.
I think that would be traumatizing for the woman, right?
That would be horrible.
It's like a dead man just came inside me.
So here's the thing: if you come inside of her and you're dead, is your sperm alive still? Like, can you get her pregnant?
Oh, yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
still sperm.
Oh, what if she got pregnant from that?
You know how terrible that would
bastard.
be. You know how terrible that would be.
Oh, man. That's
Oh,
great.
man,
The
that's
last
when
thing
you-
you do
that's
is...
when you go for
That's
plan
how Art's
B.
going to go out. The last thing he does is impregnating a woman.
Oh, he's definitely. But, I mean, he's what? He hit about 50 this week.
Yeah, it's about right. It's about right.
Oh man, you're gonna get so many calls.
Everyone
like,
just thinks I'm like this male gigolo. Like,
Well, that's kind of the
Who's
stigma
Bigelow?
we're putting out.
yeah,
So.
it's funny. It's a good narrative.
It's not. Like, the fact that you're celebrating that narrative is really bad.
Listen, I'm doing this for like the guys. You know,
Oh my God.
I'm doing
Taking
fist
one for
in
the team.
air, guys.
This is for humanity right here,
All right.
guys. You
Somebody's
know?
got to do
Someone's
it.
got to
Nobody-
do
but
it.
see, here's the thing. Like, one of your kids, they're going to fuck another one of your kids.
Whoa.
That's going to happen.
That would suck so much. Like,
Okay, that's like Genghis Khan. Did you ever hear that Genghis Khan had, like, most of today's population is somehow related to Genghis Khan? Because he had so many children.
wow.
No.
Ask Google that, how much of the population.
I wonder how much of our family is like, fuck one another, because we have a very large family, and maybe like, okay, so look at the other side of the family, right? I wonder if they've ever come into contact with
Each other.
Yeah, like, because the other side of our family, like my grandfather's side, they're very large as well as my grandmother's side, and I always just thought about that, like, you gotta be careful when you go out, man. You gotta be careful out here. You have to do your research. You have to do your market research.
So when we go speed dating, maybe you shouldn't just say, "Do you eat ass?"
I'm gonna be like, well, what's your lineage?
Wait.
Who are your ancestors? What's your?
Hold on.
I need to know.
Hold on. What? One of you? Why do you think that?
Because it's happened.
You want to hear something funny though?
I didn't.
You want to hear something funny? One of our cousins. The reason why we know that she is our cousin is because my oldest brother tried to bang her.
See?
Yeah, so I mean,
Hey, at least he didn't do it, right? Or
no,
did
he ended up getting her last name, and he was like, "Hey, we have the same last name," and then.
Oh well. What if
Hey,
it's?
we have the same last... Oh,
Yeah. What if it's not the
shit.
same
But how
surname?
awkward is it when because you thought she was you had to be attracted to her at some point?
What if it's not the same
Do
surname?
you think that attraction leaves after you realize that?
No, you're probably like, yo, my cousin's so bad. I had a chance.
I
But
wish I'd have fucked her
I
before
found
I
out
knew she
just
was
in
my
enough
cousin.
time.
You know, that's actually a psychological thing, is that we are attracted to people that look like us. So it kind of makes sense that if you're attracted to people in your bloodline.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never looked at one of my relatives and was like, damn, she's hot.
But what if you don't? They don't have the same surname, right? like so. Say for instance, they don't. What if they don't have the same surname? For instance, my dad, right? What if I bang one of his nieces
or his daughters?
Well, I know his daughters, my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, like, what if he has like a niece I never met, and,
right?
And then she's like, and then. Well, introduce you to my dad. She's like, that's my uncle. What do? Do you like wash your mouth out with bleach at that point, or
I don't understand. Yeah, that's weird. That's
do a crying
weird.
Game shower.
So do I have a question? I had a question. So if you have like Art, you can attest to this because you have an STD. Do you like tell?
Oh my goodness, man!
Like when do you tell these women that you have an STD?
I don't know because I don't have. What the fuck are you doing here? Stop.
No, but seriously,
you should put that at the front of the episode.
When do you think? All right. When do you think that you should tell these women that you have an STD? Art?
Definitely before you sleep with them.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's what I'm saying. So first date,
because it's illegal
second date, third date. Like when do you think is the proper time? Like honestly, I would rather you just come straight out.
There's no point of even going on dates if you have an STD.
Yeah,
I don't. There's actually websites where like people who have STDs.
Them, yeah. I can understand that, but if
you own the website.
Get the fuck out of here. But I'm saying, like, if people, if you have an STD and the individual doesn't, then there's no point of even, like, I mean.
But that's what I'm
saying.
That's
a shitty move there.
But that other person doesn't know.
Yeah, they don't know, but you know.
So when do you think, like, I think you should tell them, like, right away. Like,
I think
you should lead with that. Like, hey, by the like, hi, I have herpes. My name's Hope.
Hope.
Herpes Hope.
But, like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, herpes, for example, it's not fatal. Right? You have it, Art. Is it fatal?
Oh, my goodness.
No, but seriously, herpes isn't fatal, right?
No, it's not fatal.
Okay, so, like, is it really that bad at STD, or is it just the fact that it has a bad stigma?
Are you asking for a friend?
People have to take medication, right? Like, you
yeah, you definitely got to
But you have to take medication if you suffer from migraines.
What are you asking, man?
Like I'm saying is like.
Are you trying to tell us something?
No, I have.
He's like, guys, this isn't bad, right? Please say it isn't bad.
Let me tell you
Where's
something.
your wife?
Do you know how? Like, think about that. What if I had an STD and she didn't? Oh, or she had one and I didn't. Like,
that means one of y'all is cheating.
Yeah. But what if that
like, came up in a Tyler Perry movie.
Toilet seat or something like that? Like, do you know how fucked up that would be if you
You have to have like a cut on your ass.
Like if you had if you had crabs. Like if you ended up getting attracting crabs,
getting it from a public
taking
restroom.
a shit, like, oh, do you know how terrible that would be? Like that's going to take a lot of convincing. Like that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck. She would leave you regardless.
I think so too.
Because it changes from, babe, I didn't do anything. You shouldn't have sat on the fucking toilet seat. That's what I'm gone.
There's no win. Like there's
no win.
No
yeah,
win.
You cannot come back from that.
It's either she's not going to believe that you didn't cheat because you have an STD, and you can't really say you didn't cheat because she wasn't there, or you shouldn't have sat on the toilet. You should hover. I hover all the time. Bitch, you don't fucking hover. You've never hovered. You always use the little cleaning thing on the wall and wipe it. You don't clean the toilet seat before you take a shit?
I try my best not to take a shit in a public restroom.
So
I do it all the time.
You do,
I mean, I have.
But when you do you hover?
No. I put toilet paper all around the.
Okay.
They have seat tissues now.
I don't even put toilet paper on it because now they have the toilet cleaner that's in there. So I just grab the toilet paper, wrap my hand up,
and you just sit bareback on it.
Yeah, it's clean.
Oh, dude,
it's clean.
you're gonna get something.
That's that bleach. That's the Lysol bleach.
You're gonna
shit.
catch something, man.
You know what's funny? I don't know what it's called.
It's 99.99%.
But I was in Lowe's, hardware store or so, and they had two stalls. And I was in one handling business, and you can tell the other guy was completely fucking squatting. He wasn't even coming in contact with it because every time he hit
shorts on and you seen his calves flex.
No, you just kept hearing it hit the water like bloop. I said that is coming from high impact.
That was a bungee jump.
That was a high. Yeah, that was a high level bloop right there. So he has to be standing up.
Now, what if he was letting out like a whole like Hiroshima type of shit? Like,
Oh man.
I think it's funny when I'm in like the men's room, like even like at work. And
I
stuff,
wish Jay was here.
and the guy, and you hear guys like if you're in a stall and a guy's in a stall, and you hear him like handling his business, and then you hear him pee.
I do. I pee,
do that.
I pee when I shit.
Yeah, but it's so awkward. You're like he's sitting down peeing.
I usually started off with a nice solid piss.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta do it at the top, man.
Get it
Start
up.
off with the piss.
Hey, do you guys grunt? Do you guys like grunt when you shit? Like, like you're turning Super Saiyan?
I think maybe you gotta change your diet if you gotta work
I
that
don't-
hard, dude.
I mean, yeah, it's weird.
it really, you shouldn't be working that hard.
It's like a hibernating bear finally waking up.
change your diet.
No, I don't grunt. I'm like,
Oh,
my
okay.
shits are good. My shits are all straight.
I'm just saying because you've said many times before your diet is horrible.
My diet is. That's the thing. Like, I've never experienced like a bad shit.
Do you like
Like,
hot-
I've never been constipated.
Do you like hot food?
Yes.
I love hot food, man, but sometimes it comes out.
Oh,
like,
you mean hot, like
spicy.
spicy?
spicy?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No, like fucking cold.
Yeah, I like heating it up in the microwave.
I thought you legitimately meant like hot food.
No, I only eat popsicles.
How do we even get here?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, dude, sometimes it comes out like hot battery acid. or
Oh,
something.
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
Oh, yeah.
The hotter it is going in, the hotter it is.
You shed
coming
tears,
out.
man.
Especially
And
like
then
whenever you're sick.
You
too.
start to sweat. Like you get that sweat and your eyes water.
Oh man,
Or
that's
your
the
nose
worst.
starts running.
The worst is whenever you have to shit and throw up, like when you're sick.
Oh,
Same
dude,
time.
I was doing
I've
that.
never- that's never happened
When I
to
caught
me.
food poisoning, I was doing that shit.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
never-
Horrible.
Remember
That's-
a couple weeks ago? Well, it was like what, a month ago, 2
That
months
was when
yeah,
you first
yeah.
contracted
Yeah.
herpes.
Yeah.
Shut up. But dude, I had a garbage can in front of me, and
yeah.
I was just like both ends. It was like
Oh,
simultaneously, you know.
Horrible.
My wife sits on the toilet because every time she pukes, she pees. So she like when she has to when she's drinking, like when we go out and we get drunk, like she sits on the toilet with a bag or a bucket or something in front of her, so that way she can puke and pee at the same time. It's the
Wow,
weirdest
that's an
fucking
odd
thing
combination. Yeah.
ever. It's the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, like I've never experienced that whole puking thing, like the puking and shitting at the same time thing.
You haven't gotten.
I've
food
never
poisoning.
gotten the flu.
Yeah,
I've
you're
never
lucky.
gotten
Or
the
flu. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
See, that's what I mean. But my diet is shit. Maybe you should eat what I eat.
Nah, I'm good.
I don't recommend that to all our listeners.
Yeah, listen to them. They've had the flu and they've been sick and they suffer from erectile dysfunctions and shit. Look at me. I'm cool.
I like the excess of bravado over here.
No,
wonder
but no, I'm just saying I'm not lying to you. I've never legitimately experienced any of that stuff.
Like so, like I guess erectile dysfunction can cause an issue in relationships, right? But like if you're a woman and your man like constant, like he has ED, like do you think that's shallow for you to leave? Like
No. Absolutely not.
what?
No.
You're you're
Yeah.
supposed to be in it for more than just sex. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah,
don't
I think
it's
that's
shallow.
pretty shitty. I mean,
That's shitty.
The reason,
He's
here's the
remorseless.
reason
Yeah.
why I don't think it's shallow. Because we've all agreed that sex is a very important part of the relationship. Right? Yeah, you're supposed to be in a relationship for more than just sex. But if the sex is bad sex can destroy a relationship just like good sex can keep a bad relationship going.
oh wow.
I know.
I-
I hate that.
But it's true.
disagree with
but it's
everything
true.
you just said.
How many times have you fucked? You of all
I
people,
had a
you
bad
of all
relationship,
fucking people,
but it was
better
amazing.
not disagree with
I
this
had
shit.
I had a bad relationship, but it was amazing.
But
dude, and
that
I
box
couldn't go.
was
Okay,
wow.
okay, that's
Yes.
it's one thing just to have like booty calls,
No,
but to
no,
stay in a
he-
relationship
he's-
just
he
for the
stayed
sex.
in a relationship,
relationship.
That is
because
so
she would
bad.
fuck the shit out of him.
Okay, that's something.
I
you
was
just
young
go
though
to-
at the
But
time.
I've
that's
been in a
understandable.
terrible relationship because the sex was crazy too. But like that's what I'm saying. So the point of the matter is like, so it shouldn't be like you wouldn't stay in a relationship if the sex was bad. I know I wouldn't.
I have.
No,
I
if
have
the-
before.
If the sex was bad,
I'm not
I
shallow.
would
I
I
mean,
mean,
not
like
stay.
I'm not a
if
monster.
everything else in a relationship was horrible, and it's like, and there's bad sex, like, yeah, why stay around?
Then yeah, I'm out.
But
Yeah.
if that's the only bad thing, like,
That's kinda shallow.
That's why
Yeah,
people
that is
cheat.
shallow.
Well, fuck it, I'm shallow then because like I'm not gonna. If the sex is bad, I'm not staying with you. It's that simple. Why would I waste my time fucking you? I'm not gonna waste my time fucking
So
you.
we can say.
What?
Just the FYI. I'm talking to my wife, baby. Art is talking shit on you right now. Art is talking. So when you hear this, give him all the smoke you can.
Hey man, you set yourself up for that one.
No, but I'm serious. I'm serious though. I'm not gonna stay with. Like, we've been married for 12 years. Obviously, the sex is good. Otherwise, we wouldn't be together.
That's crazy.
But there's been times where the sex was bad. You know what I'm saying? And we discussed it. Like, look, this is what needs to happen. Like,
well, you know how I know you're crazy? Because initially, before you get married, you're supposed to be a virgin. You don't know if the sex is good or not.
Let me tell you something. I'm definitely going to eat a grape before I buy the whole pack.
Logically, it makes sense, but the way it's supposed to be.
Let me explain something. But I'm going to hell anyway. And trust me, lust is the least that I'm going to hell for. All right, so let's go ahead and move to closers. I said before, I'm not going to sit here and trounce Trump and talk bad about Trump and different things like that because, I mean, you're responsible for the bullshit that you pay attention to. Some of the things you have to pay attention to, but you don't have to pay attention to the antics. You don't have to respond to the antics. And honestly, all you're doing is giving this fire twigs. That's all you're doing. And it really doesn't need to grow anymore. Pause. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Art, you did sway me on the whole, just because of the percentage thing, you did sway me on the whole diversifying, what is it?
College admission.
Forcefully diversifying college admission.
Yes.
I agree with that. And the reason why is because if it wasn't forced, it wouldn't be fair. I don't think it's fair. I'm not grabbing a tracker cock ring. Sorry. I just can't see me getting one of those.
Your cock was in Minnesota yesterday.
Yeah, that's just another way to track you. It's like find my iPhone. It's like find my penis.
This guy's been all over the country.
What if somebody steals it? So like your girl thinks you're cheating on her because you're like,
oh, what are you gonna put on somebody else's cock ring, dude?
She has a tracker. She has a track. No, he may have just put it in the bag with all the other shit that he stole and just sat the bag to the side, so she thought you were over somebody's house for like 3 hours. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. My recommendation is the Cool Podcast. We actually met this guy at our Lipson function. His name is Matt. He's a pretty cool dude. His podcast is about spirituality and just togetherness and just learning how to deal with life in more than one way. It's cool. You know, you guys just need to listen to it, check it out, see what's going on with it, different things like that. But that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to Double D.
All right. So, as far as the affirmative action for colleges and college applications, you know, I'd like to have more conversations and get maybe some other people's point of views, because after the end of our conversation, I'm still not sure where I stand. I know definitely that I do not like forced diversity. I could be swayed, though. I'm always open-minded. So, you know, if I were to have a conversation with somebody and they had a convincing argument, you know, like I said, I'm always open to change my mind about things that I'm unsure of. And this is one of those things. So I still don't know how I feel about that, and I'm open to discussion. Let's see. On the midterm elections, like I said before, my takeaway from that is the Jeff Sessions not being Attorney General anymore. Kind of happy about that. And I just, as far as Trump with the media, it's so horrible the way that he makes that the norm, to treat the media and to treat people with so disrespectfully. In fact, the way that he was speaking to Jim Acosta, I think it was Jim Acosta at the time, when he was calling him a horrible person and you're a terrible person because of this and that, it was like he was talking to himself in the mirror.
I sneezed and farted at the same time.
Thanks for sharing.
A snort.
I've never
Snort.
done that.
So I think, it was honestly like he was subconsciously talking to himself, which I just found hilarious. That it blows my mind that people can be so unaware of themselves. That just blows my mind. As far as the sex bit, man, I am not putting anything on my dick, whether you're tracking it or not. I think I'm good on that.
Not even a condom.
Touche.
Art 101.
I mean, I think we can agree condoms suck.
They do.
I love condoms.
That's not what I hear.
don't wear them. You like the gold wrapper.
He's like, I got tons of them. Never use them.
This was on Willy Wonka.
It was like a lollipop.
As far as sex robots, man, I'm down to try that. I don't know if you got to use a condom with that.
Ooh, just imagine that.
It's already latex.
Like, but that brothel, like, what if they don't clean their robots?
I think that's a health issue and they should be shut down. I'm here to say, keep your sex brothels with the sex robots clean, or they're sending in some sort of government agency to shut you down.
They'll use the same stuff that they use to clean off the toilets in the bathroom before you go sit on the toilet bare ass.
Well, maybe it should be like at the gym. You got to wipe it down whenever you're done for the next person. So that's how I feel about that. What else did we talk about? Let's see. Another person that we met at the Libsyn event is a woman named Jessica. She has a podcast called Overcoming Underemployment. Very nice woman. I listened to some of her episodes. Very informative. If you guys feel that you're underemployed, you may feel like you're not, that you're alone in this. And she's here to have conversations with people like that, to let you know that you're not alone and that there's other people experiencing the same thing. So if you guys want to check that out, once again, it's called Overcoming Underemployment. That's all I got.
It's so disgusting.
Okay, for closers. You don't like how I put my chapstick on and I looked at you?
Was he staring at you?
He's a dick.
But look, he watched me do it.
Why would you watch it?
As I start to open
It was
up
like
the container,
a train wreck.
he started like shaking his head, and then when I did it, he looked up. Like as my fingers started going up, he started looking up, and I'm looking right at him. And he turns his head.
It looks like you're putting Dax wave cream on your head. Sporting waves. You're putting sporting waves on your lips.
But yeah, in closing, for affirmative action or affirmative, if we call it affirmative reaction, I stand for it. You know, I think there should be they should consider other ethnic backgrounds when conducting the college application approval process. As far as the sex bit, I'm not a fan. I don't think I'll ever partake in that. I don't need to know how many strokes I have to get.
You already know how many it takes to get somebody pregnant.
1, 2, 3.
As far as the elections go, I was very satisfied with the way it turned out for the House for Democrats. So, go you guys, do your thing. Hopefully we get some. There's some change created with that. Trump and the media, I'm just tired of Trump, so I don't have anything else to say about him. I mean, it kind of just is what it is with this guy. So, and my recommendation is actually something that is political. It's an app that I downloaded right before the election because I'm that nerd that watches the entire thing. It's called Countable. You can get it with Android OS or Apple OS or so. And basically what it is, it gives you a clear, concise summary of bills that are going to be passed through Congress and some of the actions that are taken. And it also gives you information about like local political reps and even to state and federal reps or so. So it gives you a lot of information on as to why things are occurring and what's going to be occurring and stuff and how it may actually affect you. So check it out. It's called Countable. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
All right, guys. Once again, you heard it here. This is the No Filter Podcast. And make sure you like all of our socials. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear anything you guys have to say about any of our topics. We are more than happy to. Other than that, don't forget to email us at
empnetwork412@gmail.com.
I'm thinking of a funny voice. I don't know.
That's the perfect funny voice right there.
Fuck you.
Signing off. This is Remorseless.
Me, Double D.
The Quiet Storm.
I stole his, man.
What a fucking loser. All right, guys. Thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Double D here, and let's face it, you're a loser. Yeah, yes you. You don't have any friends. And here's why this is a problem. Because after you've downloaded this episode and listened to it, you're going to love it so much, you're going to want to go out and download all the other episodes of No Filter from the EMP network. And then after you've listened to those, you're going to love this show so much, you're going to want to run out and tell all your friends about it. But guess what? You don't have any friends. So go out into the real world and make some friends. That way you can tell them all about it. And you can also tell them about our socials where you can hit us up. Hit us up at Twitter at network_EMP. Also on Instagram, EMP Network 412. And also on Facebook, you can like us, EMP Network, and share it with all your friends on there. You know, they say that they're your friends, but they're not your friends. So go out into the real world and make some friends, you weirdo.